Hi guys, I'm Zui Long, teacher of the senior class of the IELTS workshop, and we're back with another episode of Speaking Sample. For today's episode, we will tackle a topic of the speaking part 2, which is surprisingly very difficult for some of you guys, and that is a newspaper that you often read. Interesting. Now, to present a proper answer for this topic, I think there are a few crucial Q questions which you must deliver within the 2 minutes. And the first one, obviously, is what the newspaper is. Now, it's impossible to forget the name of the newspaper that you read, right? So think of a name. On top of that, you can talk about what format it is. Is it a conventional printed newspaper, or is it an online edition? Think about that. And also you can even think about, how frequently it is published, whether it is a daily periodical or a weekly periodical. Interesting thoughts. For the second Q, you might want to talk about how often you read this newspaper. Now, I would say it depends totally on your personal experience. What I suggest you do is that first, bring out the context, whether you are free or really busy, and then talk about the consequence. For example, if you're really busy and have a really hectic schedules, then you are not able to read newspapers too regularly. So let's say a few times per week when you have free time, you would log onto your phone and get to the website and read some of the most important news of that day. That makes sense, right? Alright. The third Q is why you chose this newspaper. So there are many reasons why this particular newspaper can stand out to you, right? Let's think of some aspects that you can talk about. Is it the coverage of the news? Is it the design? Or anything else? I'm pretty sure you would have your own perfect reasons to, specify on. So again, talk about how you chose this newspaper. And the last Q is, how do you like this newspaper? Why? Why are you a big fan of it? Keep on talking about that. Easy, right? Now, with the Qs ready, let's see how I myself tackle this topic. This is my speaking sample. Wait for it. Well, first of all, being a university graduate with major in media and social cultural communication, it should come as no surprise that reading newspapers is something that I have to do on a daily basis, just to keep myself updated of global events. But the problem is, I find buying printed newspapers a real hassle because my hectic schedules wouldn't allow me to travel to a newsstand and grab, newspaper that regularly. And that's where the online news come in, thank God for online news. So out of every newspapers that I subscribe to, I would personally put the New York Times on top of the list. Now I guess introducing to you what the New York Times is would be quite redundant, since you would have probably been too familiar with how powerful and influential it is. The New York Times is one of the powerhouses of the publishing industry, with around 3 million total subscriptions for its online format, if I'm not mistaken, which I think is quite impressive. So the reason why I chose to pay an annual subscription fee to the New York Times is because I find it a very reliable source of news. Well, I believe that the New York Times has presented some of the most accurate and deepest articles as well as opinion editorials you can find about US and foreign events. And on top of that, what I think sets the New York Times apart from other periodicals is the fact that it has super intense coverage on any particular matter. In fact, during my thesis research on Trump's use of social media platforms, particularly Twitter, I gained tremendous understanding of the topic through reading dozens and even hundreds of articles presented on the New York Times, and I was really grateful for that. Now, in another aspect, I would say that the subscription fee of the New York Times can be quite discouraging for some people. I mean, to pay a few dollars per month for an online edition of news can be quite expensive for some people. I would totally comprehend that, but at the same time, judging from my own experience, I think for only that amount of money, the readership on the New York Times would be so invaluable and would not disappoint you. Alright, so that was my speaking sample. What do you guys think? I hope that through this short video, I've been able to provide you some useful tips as well as vocabularies in case you do encounter this topic in the real IELTS speaking examination test room. But that's it for today. I'm Zui Long, teacher of the senior class from the IELTS workshop, and I will be seeing you in other episodes of Speaking Sample.